started here. So Gordon, there was a Santa Clarita fire that I heard about in the news. Is that near you? What's your fire situation in California these days?
Well, there was one fire fairly near me. It never really threatened here, though. One day, about a week ago, I could look out the window all day and see smoke blowing by, and that was it. I really had no uh, problems with the fires. Uh, the previous couple of fires were not close to me at all, and I was out of town anyway, so it has uh, been something to think about, but it has not really been a problem here.
Well, good. Let's keep it that way. George Hardy, I forget where you are located, sir, but if you could just give us a quick update on the weather. First, what's your 20 and what's your weather?
Roseville, California, and according to the weather report, it's 56 degrees. Looking outside, it's bright and sunny, no clouds, but we're expecting rain by Friday.
Expected rain by Friday. Okay. And so we've caught up on California. Let's jump across the country to Joel McCurry in Cary, North Carolina. Joel, how are you? What's the weather like there? And
Hey,
there you are.
yeah, I gotta be able to hit the buttons.
There you go.
We got we're up in the 60s, sunny, and supposed to have some pretty decent weather for a couple of days. If
Okay.
you call 60s pretty decent weather.
Well,
For January.
I think some people in the country like Steve in Chicago, Illinois. What's it like in the city of Broad Shoulders?
No, this isn't Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
This is not Philadelphia, but no, it's no. Well, it's 50, right now. It's 48 degrees. However, tomorrow we're predicting 56, so it's mostly cloudy. No, nothing significant or anything like that. So
Um, let's see here. Okay, thank you for the update there. And um, Jim Davis, are you on? Are you over in Moscow, Idaho?
I am.
What's it like there, sir?
Well, it's a cloudless, sunny day, and we've got about 40 degrees.
All right. Yeah, lovely day here in the city of Seattle. Rufus Cohn, before we get our program started, remind me where you are, sir, and what your weather conditions are like. I don't know, maybe not.
yeah.
There we go. Well, nope, nothing happened there. So I'll go to Trent Stentz in Portland, Oregon. Trent, what's it like there?
Howdy, welcome. Yeah, it's 46 and sunny, but we're supposed to have snow on Saturday and Sunday here in Portland area. Ooh.
That's yeah, we've had that rumor in our news as well. So, well,
Yeah.
we've got the weather taken care of, and thanks everybody for being here. So it's 1:02, so I guess that means that our program has begun. So, hi, my name is Jonathan Fisher, and welcome to today's Pacific Northwest Railroad Archive biweekly Zoom meeting. Thanks everybody for being here today. Um, if we can, we're going to be recording today's presentation. We already are. And so if everybody could mute during the presentation, I would appreciate it. And I don't know how to stop people from annotating, so no coloring on the presentation, please. Just a couple of news items or actually scheduling items for what we've got coming up in the next couple of weeks. First, February 12th, Southern Pacific veteran George Hardy will be here talking about the Siskiyou line in would be Southern Oregon, Northern California. February 26th, new presenter for us, Tim Repp. Tim, a fantastic photographer, We're going to be going completely out of network, folks, and we're going to be looking at the Appalachian country of the clinch field, of all things. Tim lives out on the Kitsap Peninsula and became a fan of the clinch field years ago, and it's just fantastic photography. Very nice stuff. March 12th, scheduled to appear. Now let's all cross our fingers. Pete Laro Photography. Pete's one of the preeminent charter leaders in the country. His Cumberson Toll Track trip last year that I was on was absolutely fantastic. I'll be going on one of his junkets on the White Pass and Yukon in September. March 26th, J. Craig Thorpe, always a favorite on this program. Craig will be back talking about how he takes a concept and turns it into an artwork. April 9th, George Lee will be here talking about the restoration of the Northern Pacific Depot in Cheney, Washington. The depot has been relocated and it is under development. I can tell you, being on Cascade Rail Foundation, I know about depots being under development. April 23rd, PNRA board president will be here, Russell Holter, doing a presentation on, I don't know what yet. And in the development stage, Dr. Frank Shear will be back again with us. Always a pleasure to have Dr. Shear with us. Railway Mail Service, and he is got RPO stuff on trains that went to Wallace, Idaho. So for those people that like Wallace, I was looking at some of the pictures today and I was like, wow, neat stuff. Just a couple other notes. Cascade Rail Foundation, we're going to be at the Monroe Train Show in Monroe, Washington, and that will be on February 22nd. We're also going to Cascade Rail Foundation. We'll have a table at Winter Rail in Corvallis, Oregon on March 15th. CRF is actually sponsoring slide picture night on Friday night, March 14th. And then mark your calendars, April 5th, April 12th, April 5th, Vashon Island, April 12th, Burien. Frank Zellerhoff will be back again, and we're going to be doing a program on the Milwaukee Road, Pier 27, Seattle waterfront. Frank, along with being the last living substation operator on the Milwaukee Road, is one of the last living Milwaukee Road people that were actually familiar with how the barge worked, how to load a barge, how to unload a barge, and do this without killing yourself, which seemed like this was a really risky thing that these guys were doing, trying to put freight cars onto a moving target. So anyway, with all that aside, at 1:06 p.m., I'm going to switch this over to speaker view, and maybe I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to switch this over. What I am going to do is I'm going to switch it over to our special guest today, the one and only, one of my dear friends and one of the great people, great photographers of all time I'm familiar with, the one and only Gordon Glattenberg. Gordon, take it away. Always a pleasure.
Okay. Last summer, the the Union Pacific Historical Society was supposed to have a convention in Paris, California. So I put together a presentation on the LA&SL route between LA and Ogden. Well, the convention never happened. I did show the presentation once on Zoom, and I have it here today. Before starting on that, though, I had just a very few pictures here that I thought may be of interest. Let me switch here to full screen. And anyway, in October of 1964, I was on a big driving trip and got up to southern Idaho and spent a morning chasing the UP's scheduled freight on the Idaho Northern Branch, which ran from Cascade to Nampa. So here are a few pictures of that train. I had a tour guide on that trip. It's Henry Griffiths. You'll notice this is pretty much forested country. It changed very abruptly to desert as going south within a very few miles. And this now is in that desert area. This is as far as I chased the train. Oh, one item to note, the UP still carried the train numbers in the indicators. Okay, now this is the presentation I did for or made for the UP Historical Society. I started photographing railroads in earnest about 1955. By then, UP steam was pretty much gone on the LA&SL. However, there was one operation still around on Terminal Island in LA Harbor. The Harbor Belt Line had one UP switcher, the 4439 and 060. And I chased it one day in March of 1957. You can see some of the docks of LA Harbor in the background. Now here the engine is crossing over the main channel from Terminal Island to Wilmington on the mainland of LA Harbor. This lift bridge way on the left is the actual railroad bridge. Now here he is coming down some tracks in Wilmington. You'll notice they're electrified. There's quite a bit of tourist traffic to Catalina Island, and at that time there was a daily steamship that left from this terminal every day, and Pacific Electric ran a train down from downtown Los Angeles to meet the steamship. Here's the PE train. And this is the steamship that went to Catalina. That ran till 1975. This now smaller boats run much more frequently. The service is better, but they lack that romantic aura of a steamship like this. Now, after being used on the switching on Terminal Island, 4439 ran several excursions on UP branch lines in the LA area. Here they are fixing up some old equipment for one of the excursions. And here it is ready to run from East Los Angeles. One of the excursions ran into downtown Glendale. This is the excursion at Glendale Avenue and Colorado Boulevard. Pretty much everything you see there is gone. It's the same location looking the other way. This is another excursion that ran down to Orange County. This is stopped in La Habra, California. And this is still another excursion that ran out of the San Pedro depot of UP, which was actually on Terminal Island. This time they used streamlined equipment. This excursion ran up to Pasadena, and here it is along the Pasadena Freeway. Just beyond this point, there's a short 3% grade. The train stalled and had to make a couple of attempts to get up the hill. Now we'll follow the main line east from Los Angeles. And here's a map of the route going from Los Angeles at the lower corner. The UP line runs about 50 miles to Riverside Junction. And at that point, the UP trains follow the Santa Fe over Cajon Pass to Daggett, which is just past Barstow. Then they resume their own route through Afton Canyon, along the Mojave River, over Seamith Hill, and on to Las Vegas. Just before reaching Riverside, the line crosses quite a bridge over the Santa Ana River. So anyway, here is something, a short train switching on the Pasadena branch in Highland Park. Now this is LA Union Station. And here is an excursion to Yermo, ready to leave Union Station, GP9s. I don't know what the story is on this train, but this is on the UP line, just past Union Station on the east side of the Los Angeles River. Now, this is the East Los Angeles station, the first stop out of LA. And this is the day of the last operation of UP trains before Amtrak. This, I believe this was the city of St. Louis leaving East Los Angeles. And this is a old locomotive that was used in movie work, and it was kept for a long time at East Yard, UP's main LA freight yard. Now this is something else at East Yard. This was a GM Aero train that was used for about a year on the city of Las Vegas. They're just starting to number it on the pilot for city of Las Vegas. And here it is running east of East Los Angeles around Whittier Junction. Now this looks like 4014's all steamed up and ready to go. This actually shows it's still on display in Pomona before it was restored. You'll notice there's no boiler jackets on it. The steam was strictly generated by the people who set up the photo session. This is a little farther east at Bartolo, a wreck of one of the city streamliners. This is farther east at Pedley, and this is during the summer of 1962. For 4 months, UP ran turbines into LA on their freights, and finally decided the hot weather was a little too much for them to handle. This is another branch line east of LA. There were quite a few branch lines serving agriculture. This area is now mainly full of warehouses. This is the bridge over the Santa Ana River. It was built at the same time as the line was built around 1905. Now, this is in Riverside. Here's some track work going on. And in Riverside, there was a very short stretch of street running. Here's an excursion on that stretch. And here's UP's Riverside station after a disastrous fire there. This is a little ways up the Santa Fe on with a turbine stopped in the siding. This is the Colton Tower where the Santa Fe crossed the SP. This is Santa Fe's station in San Bernardino. And now we're starting up the grade to Cajon Pass. And this is a westbound UP freight with three the big diesels meeting a Santa Fe train going up the hill. And I do not know what the story was. This train was in that same area on a siding with all the head end power attached to the caboose. Now, here again, we have two UP trains coming down the hill from Cajon. One is a streamliner, the other's has Rio Grande power. This is one of the city streamliner going up Cajon Pass. This is the only time I ever saw it with helpers. Now, this is at Devore on Cajon Pass. And I was expecting to see UP's westbound streamliner come by here. I was all set up for it. The Santa Fe freight came down first. And if you notice, the brakeman or conductor is on the pilot. He's going to jump off and throw the switch so this freight can go into the siding. So here he is running ahead of the freight to throw the switch. This happened to be the last picture on the roll of Kodachrome. So while I was changing film, I heard this scraping noise. And when this freight stopped, it looked like that. While it was going into the siding and starting to derail, I first heard the scraping noise. Then I saw it slowly starting to accordion, and then finally the brake hose broke and the brake set. But it was just a slow motion nightmare. This all happened at about 5 miles an hour. Finally, the UP streamliner managed to get by on the eastbound track. This is a shot of 4014 coming down Cajon Pass. This is in 1962 when it was on its way to Pomona for display, long before it resumed operation. The snow-covered mountain in the background on the right is Mount San Jacinto. Well, here's some trains going up Cajon Pass. This is called Sullivan's Curve. That's the city of Las Vegas after the regular equipment replaced the aerotrain. This is after the SP built a line between Colton and Palmdale. The UP train is going up the hill. The SP train is going down. Both are eastbound by timetable. City of Las Vegas again. There's a streamliner approaching Summit. This is the city of Las Vegas approaching the summit of the Cajon Pass, and it needed a helper for the 2.2% grade. I'm pretty sure that's why it got replaced rather quickly. Now, this is at Summit, westbound streamliner. This is at Summit. Chard Walker was the operator that day, handing up orders to the city of Las Vegas. And this is UP's mail train number 5. Chart is throwing mail onto the RPO car on that train. That was the only mail service to Summit, which had a post office. So this is getting down in the desert near Hesperia. This is at Frost. East of this point, there was right hand running, and it switched over here for left hand running over Cajon Pass. Now, this is approaching Victorville. The Mojave River flows through that area. It's usually dry, but there's enough underground water to have meadows like that. And this is just approaching Victorville, called the Upper Narrows of the Mojave River. And this is at the other end of Victorville. Vandals had been around the bridge. You may notice what they've painted on the girder there. Smoke it in 76. Okay, here we are coming out of Oro Grande, just east of Victorville, and there was a stretch of 90-mile-an-hour track just up to Barstow. This is coming into Barstow. The track just going off to the left was the Santa Fe's line to Mojave and then to Northern California. Looking east or looking towards the yard is looking east, which is the Santa Fe's main yard there. This is West Tower, where Chard Walker worked for a while after the Summit Station was closed. And this is Santa Fe's station at Barstow. It's still there. Obviously, July 4th. Actually, I'm wrong there. This was the last city streamliner. It was carrying flags like they usually do on July 4th. This was the just before Amtrak. Okay, from Daggett eastward, the UP gets on its own tracks. And this is the Yermo station. This was a crew change point. And this is an unusual culvert east of there. Now, about 30 miles past Yermo, the tracks follow follow the Mojave River through what's called Afton Canyon, and the tracks come in here, follow it through this deep part, and then come out here. So here is approaching Afton Canyon, and getting into it. And this is crossing the river just at the east end of Afton Canyon. Crucero is where the Tonopah Tidewater used to cross the UP. The Tonopah Tidewater was abandoned about 1938 or so. Here's a remnant of its right-of-way. While I was there, it was January 1965, this really bad sandstorm came up. And there's the city of Las Vegas going by in the sandstorm. Turned out this was the last picture I ever shot with that camera. Now this is a little ways east, some major sand dunes in the background near Glasgow siding. And Sands is about as remote a place as you can find in California. This is the UP station in Kelso, which used to be a helper station. This is what it looks these days. The Bureau of Land Management runs it. It is sort of a museum. But here's what it looked like in the 1960s. Now, this is jumping up to the top of Sema Hill, 18 miles east of Kelso. Between them, there's a 2.2% grade. Now, this is December of 1964. And this westbound Western Pacific train is detouring because of major floods in the Feather River Canyon. That storm also wiped out the Northwestern Pacific for about 6 months. So this is chasing it back down Sema Hill to Kelso. Back up to the top of the hill at Sema, they occasionally get snow there. It's a Joshua tree on the left. Now we're into Nevada. This is, I believe, about 10 cars on the city of Las Vegas. This is the biggest I've ever seen that train. And this is Sloan, Nevada. Uh, there's some mining right in that area. This is uh, the most rugged area just before getting to Las Vegas. Now, this is the Las Vegas station that I knew. And here it is with the city of Las Vegas. And here it is with the turbine. Uh, Early this month, I was up in Las Vegas to attend the Consumer Electronics Show, and I stayed at the Plaza Hotel. That hotel occupies the site of the station. Okay, out of Las Vegas, the track goes for about 50 miles through relatively flat country to Moapa. Then for close to 100 miles, it follows canyons. First Meadow Valley Wash, then Clover Valley Wash up to the summit at Crestline. This off here is a branch line to Pioche, which has long since been abandoned. The scenery immediately ends at the state line and is pretty flat, almost all the way rest of the way to Salt Lake City and Ogden. So here's coming out of Las Vegas. I've never understood why the dynamometer car was ahead of the demonstrator. Now, this is a short area of cliffs about 20 miles east of Las Vegas. This is Moapa, just before the uh, line goes into the canyons. Uh, I I had a non-air conditioned car when I shot this. It was 115. My first air conditioned car came within the next year. Okay, now we're starting up the canyons. This is train number 6, the mail train. 5 and 6 were the only passenger trains through this area in the daytime. The regular streamliners went through at night. So I rode these trains up into Utah a couple of times, and it was a spectacular ride. Here's riding number 6. This was the uh, let's see, what was the name of that train? Anyway, uh, Amtrak stopped running through there quite a few years ago. Here's number 5. This is definitely on July 4th. I was able to get a picture of 844 going up these canyons. And there it is. Were you thinking of the other engine? This is Caliente, really big station. I think they used to have crews operate out of there for the grades, but I think it's pretty much abandoned now. Okay, this is the one picture I ever got on the Pioche branch. It very quickly climbs out of the canyons. And here's the line east of uh, Caliente. It starts to get a little bit greener. And this is the summit at a crest line. Uh, Dropping down from crest line, there was a big horseshoe curve shown here. There's been a line relocation eliminating this curve. Uh, when I rode 5 and 6, I usually got off the train at Lund. Here's number 5 coming into Lund, which I caught on the way back to Las Vegas. And this is typical coach of the coaches they used on 5 and 6. This is the Cedar City station. It's obviously a pizza place now, but it still has the UP shield on it. This is the station at Milford, which is a division point. Black Rock, that to me is middle of nowhere. Tintic. And here's Salt Lake City. This is a kind of relatively new RPO I saw once in Ogden. And this is here's a one of the turbines at night in Ogden. And here's starting up one of the turbines. I threw this in because it's a picture that's always intrigued me from this area. I rode an excursion in 1962 out of Los Angeles up to Sacramento, then east to Cheyenne with then had 844 on the excuse me, onto Ogden, then had 844 from Ogden to Cheyenne. Well, approaching Ogden, the train, this excursion was crossing Great Salt Lake, and we crossed on the trestle. The fill had been built, and you can see a freight train on it, but I'm wondering if we were the last train over the trestle. Uh, Finally, in Ogden, I have a picture a couple days later of that excursion train coming back from Cheyenne. It had F units uh, all the way from Cheyenne, I believe, to Salt Lake City, where they changed it for another set of F units. These F units went all the way into LA with the train. And as far as I know, they were the last UPF units ever into California. And that concludes it. Okay.
Well, all I can say is first off, what a great program, and second, I'm really glad that I had my sound muted because every time we'd go to another picture, I'd go, "Oh wow, look at that!" And finally, Zoom said, "You know, you are muted." So, just a very entertaining program, Gordon, and always so much fun to be with you. Um,
Thank
does
you.
anybody in our audience? I know that there were some questions that came up in the chat. Does anybody, while you're here, want to say hi to Gordon and ask him a question quick? We've got a little bit of time. I know one of the questions that I saw was why did that UP steam locomotive run so late in its career?
Just a minute. I'm having trouble hearing this. Let me turn up my volume. Could you tell me that again?
Yeah, normally I'm not a person that's ever had people normally don't go, "Oh," but yeah. Anyway, why did that Union Pacific steam engine run so late in its career?
I have no idea. I mean,
Okay.
UP stopped running mainline steam probably around 1951. And here it was, this engine was switching at Harbor Beltline in 1957. I just have no idea how that happened.
And then one you were talking about you taking a trip in the car and that it was 115 degrees and that very shortly thereafter you had a car that had air conditioning.
Yeah,
In that photograph, there was somebody it looked like another photographer in the foreground. I was curious who that was.
I have no idea.
Oh,
Uh, I wonder if I could go back to it real quickly.
yeah, just flip back here for a second, and that'll give anybody else in our audience a chance to, if you're still sharing. It was towards the end. It was up. I want to say it was up by the summit. Anyway, I just kind of down in the foreground, I saw another person, so I was just curious who that
Yeah,
was.
I was unaware of anybody there.
Oh,
Uh,
hopefully it's not my vivid imagination hard at work again, folks.
let's see.
So
That was, I'm trying to remember where that was. Oh,
uh,
here it
towards
is.
towards the end, it was anyway,
It's,
just a
yeah,
curiosity.
I'm looking at small, and as far as I know, there was no one else there.
Fine, just leave it at that. So we'll leave it at that. So what else have you been doing, Gordon?
Oh, um, uh,
Went to the
just
Consumer Electronics Show.
oh yeah, that is a fascinating uh, uh, event. I go to it every year, and it fills up the Las Vegas Convention Center and several other big venues there. 140,000 people attend, and it's there's new stuff every year. I've never really seen anything railroad related there, but I did get a picture of Elise in a monstrous dump truck made by John Deere. And the reason it was there, the cab was full of electronics.
Oh, okay. Okay, so anything exciting that I should be looking for next December or anything for Christmas stuff or holiday stuff?
Oh, you're talking about the Christmas card?
No, I'm talking about the Consumer Electronics Show. What
Oh, we really never know what's going to be there.
I
Uh,
suppose. I suppose. So the other question I've got for you is behind you on the wall. It looks like that there's a picture of, is that a stadium in the background?
I'm sorry, say that
Is
again.
is that a stadium behind you on the wall in the background?
Oh, that is Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. Uh, the Before the Dodgers came to LA, the Chicago Cubs main farm team was the uh, let's see, what did they call them? I've forgotten, but they played in this Wrigley Field. They were called the Angels, and had nothing to do with the Angels that play in Anaheim, and They played in this Wrigley Field, which is in South LA, and it held, I don't know, 30,000 people perhaps. It was a wonderful place to watch a ballpark, and I saw quite a few games there.
Well, that's would have been the Pacific Coast League, so you would have seen the mighty
Yeah.
Seattle Rainiers at some point in time.
Oh yeah. It was definitely a PCL team.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. I almost mispronounced it.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Um, so at this point, Gordon, I mean, a masterful performance, and let's get something on the calendar for this coming fall where we can talk about some more fun stuff. You did a program on Canada for us that was quite interesting, and so today's program on the Union Pacific, of course, was very interesting as well. So, not hearing anything more from the gallery, I'm going to say,
Say, Gordon?
Yeah.
Say,
hey,
Gordon, I'm
Brian,
just
go ahead.
wondering, did anybody at that derailment of that downhill Santa Fe train come over and talk to you or anything?
Uh, the crew did, and I guess they were kind of in a state of shock. I did talk briefly to one of the uh, uh, officials that showed up, and he didn't seem particularly interested. So, I told him, yeah, hey, I watched this all happen. He didn't particularly care.
Okay.
But uh, I've always wondered what caused it. I suspect maybe a broken rail or broken wheel.
Yeah, he obviously got a line for the power or something close to it. The
Yeah.
core could have drifted open after he got part of his train over. Amazing.
Yeah, one thought is that as they were going down hill there, there was full dynamic braking, so there was a lot of compression on the cars just behind the engine that were the ones that derailed.
Well, a little bit of X versus Y forces,
What's that?
a little bit of X versus Y, the lateral and the horizontal forces.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
right.
there probably was a whole lot of lateral force.
There you go. Well, again, so folks, if you missed today's program, it goes up on YouTube, usually within about 24 hours. And if you just Google Gordon Glattenberg, say that 5 times fast, Google Gordon Glattenberg and YouTube and put that all in your search bar, you'll be able to watch this episode again. So in 2 weeks, our friend George Hardy, George is in the audience today, will be back talking. George, remind us what our topic is going to be in 2 weeks. Just make sure I get my facts straight. Go on unmute for a sec. And a little drum roll from the orchestra. There's George.
Too many fat fingers or too few. My presentation will be on the SP Siskiyou subdivision in January of 1965, right after the winter storm of that year that took a lot of railroads out in the West Coast. So the Cascade Line was closed, and everything running north and south geographically between Portland and California was on the Siskiyou Line, and nothing went over the Cascade for about 2 weeks.
Wow. So that should be an interesting program. George, thanks for updating us on that. And then February 26th, Tim Rep will be taking us on a tour of Appalachia. So that's what we've got for today. And I want to thank everybody for being here.
Jonathan?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to say hello to George Hardy. He and I have been longtime members of Sumter Valley and on the archives committee together, but never have actually met face to face. So I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Nice to have a voice and a face to get put together.
Well, and the Sumter Valley is a noble effort, and Steve's been our guest in the past talking about the absolute magnificent resurrection of that railroad. Steve, what we got you on the line? We've got a few minutes left. What's the update on your archive in beautiful McEwen, Oregon?
Well, the archive building itself has been completed. We've actually, used it for a couple of important functions, like our annual meeting. We did host the Eccles family from Salt Lake, who have been longtime patrons of Sumter Valley Railroad. Had a good time with them. We still got a little bit of work left to do in terms of cataloging, scanning photos, and making things available so people can use them for research purposes, or we can use them in newspaper articles or other educational efforts. So we're still plugging along, but we're very happy to have the building complete, and it's going to be a very useful addition to Sumter Valley Railroad.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm a long time supporter of the Sumter Valley. So anytime I have Steve on the program and get a chance that we can promote Sumter, I always want to do that. George Foster, did you have anything you wanted to add before we wrap up today?
Can I do show and tell?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. So for you UP fans, since we're talking about UP today, Bowser finally came through with their F units for UP with the giant branch line snowplow. So here's my particular one.
Oh, you hold that up closer to the camera so people can see it. Look at
It's
that.
smiling.
Same plow as we saw earlier in the program, folks. So
Yeah, this is the 517, which if you've ever seen the old 1966 films, I think Sunday River or somebody, the 517 and two other F units piloted the 844, well, 8444 at that time from Portland to, I don't know how far they went with it, but there's freeway footage along the gorge there with them on the point of the special.
And, George, just as a spoiler alert, we saw a couple of those today at the beginning of our program on the Idaho Northern.
All right. Yeah.
So Jack Christensen, can you hear me? I don't know. Jack, if you're there, I'm not hearing you. You're not muted, Jack. So no, not picking you up there. Now you're muted. Try unmuting. Anyway, Jack, even if I don't get you unmuted or muted or whatever, I just wanted to say hi and let you know that we're all pulling for you and keep up the good work, okay? Jack started with the Northern Pacific in 1943, folks. So anyway. Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour, and I thank all of the victims and survivors of today's program. Gordon was incredibly entertaining as always. Thank you to our special guest, Gordon Glattenberg, and I look forward to seeing everybody in a couple of weeks, and we will have George Hardy talking about the Siskiyou line at that time. So until then, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. So bye for now.